celebrating junior bowling, elevating junior bowlers. This is Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Live on tape from Brunswick Zone Lilburn in Lawrenceville, Georgia, just outside Atlanta. We welcome you to the 2018 Georgia Youth Bowlers Tour Tournament of Champions. On the first Sunday of every month from August through May, youth bowlers from all across Georgia, and in some cases across the country, come to bowl the GYBT for an opportunity to qualify for the largest youth bowling tournament in the world, Junior Gold, to be held next month in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. But on the first weekend of June, the top players from all the GYBT events throughout the year come to bowl the organization's signature event, the Tournament of Champions, for scholarship money and the prestige of being crowned a TOC winner. If there's such a thing as a major in youth bowling here in Georgia, this event surely ranks as one of them, along with Pepsi and the Georgia State Tournament. You win one of those three tournaments and you've achieved something. The founder and director of the GYBT is Mike Bonzek, who this year was named USBC's Volunteer of the Year. So this is the 13th year of the GYBT TOC?
That's correct.
And how many entries were there this year?
We had 102 entries. A few kids bowed out, so we're bowling with 92.
So how does that compare to years past?
First year, my daughter was in it. We had 15 kids. And she finished second, got $125. Last year we hit our highest ever, which was 76. And now we're, as I said, 92.
Now a lot of the viewers of Prodigy hear us talk about GYBT, but they may not know exactly what it is. Can you just give the elevator speech about what is GYBT?
The mission statement, as published on our Facebook page, is that we exist to provide opportunities for kids to bowl at Junior Gold Nationals, as well as preparing them physically and mentally to bowl Junior Gold Nationals. So it's an opportunity to qualify and prepare yourself. That's it.
And you were named this year one of the USBC's Volunteers of the Year. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that was a surprise. I didn't even know that I was on a list, but somebody put in an application for me as the USBC Volunteer of the Year.
Now please welcome the USBC Youth Volunteer of the Year, Mike Bonzek.
My group runs a Junior Gold qualifying tournaments in Georgia. When we started down this road 13 years ago, we qualified one kid. This past season, we're going to qualify about 160. I need to thank, we have a team that's equally as dedicated and believes in our mission, and just mention some first names. Thanks to Jeff, Sean, Nayaf, Ted, Chris, Linda, Vicky, John, Wes, and also the Georgia State Youth USBC, Dave, Eileen, Joe, I think you're here. Thanks for your support and all your help. Somewhere in my life, I realized that competition is something you encounter daily in your daily life, both individual and team competition, whether it be for a job, whether it be for a promotion, whether it be for a wife, whether it be standing in line at Starbucks. You have to learn how to deal with success gracefully. You have to learn how to deal with failure successfully and how to move on. Sometimes you succeed, sometimes you don't. But you need to learn how to deal with both of those situations. I found that bowling helps these kids learn those lessons. This is 2018. I grew up in a different age. There are so many distractions on the streets these days for kids that we never envisioned 30, 40 years ago. If we can give them exposure to a positive experience, it helps make them grow into assets to adult society. I have an ongoing joke with Gary Brown that I wanted to qualify more kids for junior gold than he does through his Survivor tournament. We surpassed him. But our goal wasn't numbers of participants. Our goal is to make better youth adults. And I think we're succeeding going down that road. Thanks for your listening to me. Good luck to all of you.
One year ago, for the first time, Prodigy Bowlers Tour covered the stepladder in the U15 boys division at this event. 8 pins on this ball will do it. And there is 8 pins. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. CJ Petrin has won the U15 boys division of the GYBT Tournament of Champions. This year, we're expanding our coverage to include both the U15 boys and the U20 boys. Today, you'll see the championship round stepladders in both divisions. We begin our coverage today with the U15 stepladder. So now, let's meet the 5 finalists. Qualifying in the number 5 position is Jake Holbein. Jake hails from Augusta, where he and his parents are all active in the local bowling community. Jake will face our number 4 qualifier, Joshua Collins of Fort Benning, Georgia. You saw Josh win the Pepsi tournament in April. If he could win the GYBT Tournament of Champions today, it would make a strong argument in his favor for Georgia State Youth Bowler of the Year. The winner of that match will bowl our number 3 qualifier, Brandon Rassiopi of Johns Creek, Georgia. B-Rev led this tournament almost the entire weekend, but fell back in the last couple of games as our leader put on a furious charge. But Brandon has proved to be especially tough on fresh oil, and they're running the lanes for the stepladder. The winner of that match will bowl our number 2 seed and this tournament's defending champion, CJ Petrin of Hickson, Tennessee, just outside Chattanooga. CJ has shot up in height and has added quite a few revs since he won this event from the number 3 spot a year ago. He's looking to make it back-to-back titles today. And the winner of that match will bowl for the championship against our tournament leader, Logan Fossum of Cumming, Georgia. Lofo just kept hanging around the top 5 for most of the weekend, but then in the final few games of qualifying, he closed with games of 216, 211, 207, and 244 to come from way back to take the lead at the very end. Some would say he's due to win one of these. He was the tournament leader going into the stepladder last year, and today he'd like to finally take that next big step. And that's our field today in the U15 boys on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Here's a look at how we got to this point. As you can see, the round 1 leader was Brandon Rassiopi, who averaged just a tick under 194 for 5 games. Now, they bowled 2 rounds on day 1, and at the end of round 2, the same 5 players were bunched at the top, and B-Rev was holding firm to the top spot. The players then came back on Sunday morning to bowl round 3, and 2 players put on a big charge as CJ Petrin began his final game with 7 in a row, and Logan Fossum closed with a strong 244, while Brandon lost his look, shooting 149 and 169 to surrender the lead as they closed out qualifying. So it's been the same 5 players in the top 5 from the very beginning of the event. They've just been jockeying for position all along. But we have our seeding for the championship round, so let's get match 1 underway. It's number 5 seed Jake Holbein against number 4 seed Josh Collins. And Josh, being the higher finisher, had the choice of starting lanes, and he's going to let Joshua lead off on the left. This lefty from Fort Benning, Georgia. And Josh comes in a little high, but trips out the 6-7-10. And what a way to start. So now Jake Holbein. He and his family live in Augusta, Georgia. And that ball a little wide off his hand. And comes in thin, and he leaves the 2-10 split. Here's how you make it. Get the ball over on the left side of the 2. And throw it over into the 10. Easy enough on paper. He will play it down the left side to get a better angle. But gets a little too much of the 2-pin, so an open frame to begin. And they're bowling today on the Kegel Code Challenge Series 4239. The mandate from the tournament director was come with something a little less difficult than what they bowled on in the first 3 rounds. This a 4-to-1 ratio, a little lower than average volume, and 39 feet. We should see some strikes today. Coming up high. Jake leaves the 3-6. Well, this young man got through 15 games of qualifying without a really high game. And he joked about it. He was in 5th place after every round. His high game in the tournament, 206. There's a spare. So he's on the board. And now Josh will move over to the right lane. And plows that one right in the pocket, and they all go down. That was 10 back. That was so good, it's worth a second look. Slams him down. So a double to start. How about 3 in a row? So Josh gets out of the gates fast with a turkey. Gets that thing out to about 3 at the break point. And it comes charging back. Now Jake. Well, that one a little wide. Didn't come back. So he's still trying to find the line on this pair. He leaves the 1-2. Simple spare. And he takes care of it. Well, Jake, as you may recall, bowled with us last summer on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. And on a day when the lanes were in just terrible condition, we think the lane machine had gone kaflooey, and the conditions were very difficult. He was the winner. So this guy can thrive in tough conditions. That ball comes up a little thin, and he leaves the 2-pin. And he covers it. Well, a year ago, I used to call Josh Spider-Man. He got so low throughout his approach. I figured he was going to have to change that eventually, and he has. Being low is not a bad thing, but he got so low it was almost a threat to his back. He's left the split here, though, the 3-6-7. Put the ball on the right side of the 3, slide it over into the 7. Now you notice the girls on our left and on our right. The girls to our right, that's the U20 girls finals over there. The U15 girls are to our left, as Josh gets a little too much 3-pin on that spare attempt. And so now the two players have exchanged open frames. The difference in this match right now is that turkey that Josh put up in the first, second, and third. Right in the hole. Pretty sure that's urethane Josh is throwing. He throws it most of the time. Put a reactive ball in Josh's hands, it's usually too much on most conditions. That looked a little left off of Jake's hand as soon as he let it go. He's still trying to find the line. Leaves the 3-6-10. Choppable spare. Going cross lane at it to reduce the chance of a chop. And he gets it. Jake, one of the most cheerful kids I know. Always got a smile on his face. Always in good humor. And that should lift his spirits even more. I think when he's bowling in competitions, about the only time you see him with anything other than a big smile on his face. And it's not because he's bowling bad, it's just because he's got his game face on. Through the nose for Josh. Leaves the 7. That could have been a lot worse. Now he will use a plastic ball to shoot the left corner spares. And look out, that one's gone. So an open frame. And the lead is down to just 10. And Jake, with a strike up, can even this match when he gets up in the 7th. There's a good ball by Josh. Slaps out the 7. He's got that tender touch with the ball. He doesn't try to overpower it. Doesn't try to throw it a million miles an hour. He just feathers it down there. Lets the ball do the work. Very effective. Jake trying to get it to come up. The hand gestures don't seem to do much good, though. The only hand gesture that works is when it comes off your hand. He's got the 1-2-4. Just throw a Brooklyn. Move your feet about 3-4 boards to the right. Throw it over your strike target. You put the ball on the 1 and the 2. Oh, he overhooks it and runs by the 1 pin. So his second open frame of the game, and that's not going to help. Well, as it stands right now, Jake can strike out for 201. Josh is going at a 193 pace. Well, so much for that. Now Jake has got a real problem. The 2-4-8-10. Now this can be made. You shoot it like the 2-10. And if you get enough hook on it, you'll put some English on the 4 pin and it'll go over and get the 8. It's a beautiful thing to behold when you do it. And that's how you do it. How about that one right there? Well, let's see that again. Get that ball over on the left side of the 2. Watch the 4 take out the 8. And we'll see his reaction this time. We could hear it a little bit too. He said yes. That keeps him in it. But if Josh strings a few of these, it'll take him right back out of it. That strike puts Josh out ahead by 32. And they're running out of frames now. When you get that corner pin to fall inward like that, it means you are hitting them at the exact perfect angle. Josh is lined up. Look at this. And now Jake's back is to the wall. Watch this one right here. This is Stuff City. See you later. And Josh needed that. So now the best he can do is 180. Josh, if he throws 2 balls in the gutter in the 10th frame, has 173. So it's just about over now. Jake has to strike 3 times in the 10th and then go for Josh's knees. It's about the only way he's going to win. We don't necessarily recommend that strategy, by the way. Oh, man. Well, and he gives 2 big thumbs up to that one, but it's all she wrote. And Josh Collins has won this opening match, and he's going to move on. We will follow this match to its conclusion. Jake covers the 7. With a strike, he'll finish with 169. It won't be his lowest game of the tournament, but it sure won't be the game he had hoped to bowl. And they just won't go for him. He got 1 strike the whole game. And Josh can take a victory lap here, or maybe try a slightly different line, or maybe test out another ball to see if he's got options. That's an option he won't want to use right there. Well, with a conversion, he'll be in the 200s. Well, I'm not sure what that was, but if he was trying something, I would shelve that idea for another day. It's Josh Collins, who's moving on. He'll face Brandon Rassiope when we return.
Hello, friend. I'd like to bowl a few lines. Brought your own bowling pins? Why, sure. Folks who know the score know you get more action from these pins. See that big red crown that goes all around? Means it's a real red crown Dura King bowling pin made by Brunswick. Makes the game more fun. Now, why don't you have these high-scoring pins, friend?
Oh, we got 'em. Look at the plaque.
Brunswick, Dura King, red crown pins. You've got 'em all right. Can't wait. Just love to bowl against those pins.
All over America, more people are bowling against red crowns than any other pins. Just ask for the big red crowns, Dura King bowling pins by Brunswick.
Strikes in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 8th, and 9th by Josh pretty much put up a roadblock to any hopes Jake had of getting past him, especially since Jake was only able to muster 1 strike of his own. So, Jake finishes 5th this year in the GYBT TOC. And he would like everyone to know he finished every single round of the tournament in 5th place, which I suppose is something of an oddity in itself. So, with that 194 to 168 victory under his belt, Josh Collins moves on to match 2, where he'll face our number 3 seed, Brandon Rassiope. Brandon has kind of had Josh's number in tournament competition over the years, and just a few weeks ago, edged him in the 10th frame for a big win at the local Top Dog Junior Tournament. We'll see if that trend continues here on the biggest stage upon which these two have yet to face one another. And Brandon begins with a strike. He had the choice of starting lanes and opted to start the match. That means he will finish last. And Josh will throw his opening ball of the match on the right lane. Comes up high, and that extra pin action wasn't all that helpful. Breaking down the 2-4-7, and now he's got the 2-7 baby split. You want to put the ball on the left side of the 2, let the ball deflect over into the 7. You can make it on the other side of the 2, but we don't recommend it. And that's a little wide of the mark. So an open frame to begin match 2. And Josh falls behind right away. Not what he had in mind. As he moves over to the left lane. And high again. This time he could have used some of that pin action to break up this cluster. The 2-4-7-8. There's a lot of ways to miss this spare. You want to put the ball on the 2 and the 4 with enough hook to drive through and get the 8. And he chops it. So back-to-back opens to begin. And that should loosen up Brandon a little bit. as Josh has just handed him a 23-pin lead. Brandon, the bowler of the year in the GYBT and the U15 boys. He will receive some scholarship money for that honor, and received his plaque earlier. And there's a double to begin. Well, he used to be called Lil B, and then he grew too much for anybody to call him Little anything. So now they call him B-Rev. And I use that term singular rev because he only gets one. Well, maybe he gets more than one, but he is not a high rev player, that's for sure. But he's very accurate. And that's how you strike, right there. Slap out the 10. Pulled this one. He gets 8 and has the 6-10. This kid has really come on. He was the winningest player in the U15 boys this year, and that Bowler of the Year honor was no fluke. If he was in the field, he was there to win all year. May have snuck up on a few people early, but he kept doing it. So you couldn't call it a fluke after that. Oh, but the 6 goes around the 10, and there's an unforced error and an open, which tightens this match. And you don't want to give any gifts to Lefty here, because he can really string them. You want to see some revs, this guy's got all you need and then some. And he rips the rack. And finally gets his first strike of the match. Watch this one. He will come in the half pocket, really almost the light pocket. Watch the 5-pin go right over into the 10. The swisher. That is the quintessential power strike. And that is through the nose again. And he looks a little puzzled about this left lane. That's 2 in a row through the nose. And the last time he shot a 2-4 combination, he chopped it. But he makes it this time. But he would have liked to have gotten that strike to cut into Brandon's lead. Brandon will take his time. And why not? Pulled another one. And now he's got a problem. The 5-6 split. Now this is in the baby split family because you convert it by having the ball take out both pins. You got to fit the ball right between the 5 and the 6. I'd move about a board, maybe a board and a half left off my strike position, and throw it over my strike target. Well, as I mentioned earlier, the one good thing about Brandon's game, well, he's got a lot of good things actually about his game, but if you're not going to be a high rev player, you better be accurate. And he is. So I like his chances to convert this. Well, there you go. There's not a lot of tolerance to make that split. That is a precision shot right there. He put it right where it had to be. Perfect. This kid doesn't know how good he is. Comes up a little light. Leaves a shaker 4. He led this tournament after every round this weekend. And this is the strongest field he'll face before Junior Gold. These kids in the GYBT Tournament of Champions, they're not fooling around. They can play. And he led all of them through most of this tournament. All of them in his division, anyway. There's a spare in the 5th. Josh looking to string some strikes to catch up. Doesn't quite get back. Had it in the swish zone, but the 10 remains. Pretty good play right there. Josh will go ahead and hook at this. He won't go hard and straight. And he just gets the 10. I don't think he was too worried about it, though. Well, they bowled on much more difficult patterns in rounds 1, 2, and 3, and the tournament director said, let's go easy on them for the step ladder. We want to see some strikes. I like that decision, but we're not seeing the strikes yet. That was close. Just a little high. Leaves the 6. As these lanes get a little more play on them, these kids will open them up some, and they should start playing a little easier. He covers the 6. But strikes are scarce. And if Brandon's not going to come back to him, Josh needs to string a few if he's going to get back in this. See if Brandon can find the pocket again here on the right lane. That was a much better shot. Comes in light and gets the wall shot. take another look at it. Watch the head pin. It'll go to the left wall, come back and take out the 4, 5, and 7. That is the classic wall shot right there. Another strike, he can extend the lead to 30. Pulled it. Through the nose. Just trying to steer it a little bit. Gotta trust it. Billy Whaley used to say, trust is a must or your game is a bust. And it's still true today. You got to trust that ball out to the right and trust that you're putting the right amount of lift on it to bring it back. We don't really talk about lift these days like we used to, but you still got to get fingers on it. Oh, no. Oh, no. He whiffs the 3-pin. After I've been bragging on his accuracy, he just pulled it. But for the time being, he's still got the lead. Unless Josh doubles here. And Josh is not going to double. Not yet. That one through the nose, and he leaves the 4-7. He'll go to his plastic ball. And he did a double take on that one. I think he is expecting it to chop the 4 off the 7. It almost did, but he gets the spare. As this match now getting down toward the end, it's going to be who can perform in the 9th and 10th. And he gets the light shaker. Look at that one. I don't think he liked that one so much, judging from his facial expression, but watch this mixer. The head pin will go to the right wall, and it'll do all the damage on the right side of the rack. Those are beautiful. All right, Brandon. It may be time to match him strike for strike. Pretty good shot right there. B-Rev slaps out the 10. It looked to me like he might have pulled that one just a little, but it held. And now he will let the girls on either side go. So we'll take another look at this one. Looks like it might have been a board or two inside his target at the arrows, but he got enough fingers on that one to slap the 10 out. Well, he's always been a little bit self-conscious about the fact that he doesn't get the revs that a lot of these players do, but he can keep up with them. But he will get some of those. And I think I can show him why with our coach's clicker. Watch this. This is the shot you just saw. He gets to the line in pretty good shape, but watch where his hand is at release. His fingers are above the equator of the ball. You want those fingers behind the ball and down low. The lower you can get them, the more revs you'll put on the ball. And you really want to be more behind it. Randy Peterson talks about how amateurs play the outside of the ball and professionals play the inside of the ball. That's what he's talking about. And the result is a weak 10. Gotta make it. Oh, no. No. Well, those are two unusual misses for Brandon. The 3-pin in the 7th, the 10-pin in the 9th, and he has handed the lead to Josh, who can now get up in the 9th, 10th, and 11th and shut Brandon out. And there's the first strike he'll need to do it. And now Josh has a 12-pin lead. Well, in the Top Dog tournament, Brandon did this to him. Got up in the 10th and shut him out. Josh is going to try to return the favor. He needs a strike and count to do it. There's the strike. Boy, it came late. Well, you talk about a light shaker. Watch this one. This will hit light in the pocket, and that head pin just tilts out the 10. And now he just needs 5 pins. 5 pins for the shutout. And there's 6. And he seems a little stunned, but doesn't matter. That ball just won the game. The worst he can do now is 185. The best Brandon can get is 181. That's a 187, and Josh is going to move on to match 3. And Brandon is going to have to wait his turn to win one of these. It seemed all weekend like this one might be his. But you can't be scared when you go up against these kids in the stepladder, no matter how many revs they put on the ball. You got to just believe your game is good enough to get you there. Brandon's game is plenty good enough. He's beat them all year in these GYBT events. He beat them all weekend until the final 2 games. He didn't surrender the lead until the 14th game. With a strike, he'll finish with 171. And Joshua Collins gets one step closer to sweeping both the Pepsi and the GYBT Tournament of Champions. Well, a 6 count to finish. It doesn't really matter. Brandon finishes with 167. It's a 20-pin victory for Josh Collins. And now he's got the defending champion to get through, CJ Petrin and Josh Collins, when we return next.
You've punch in your name, you're ready to bowl. Punch in your name and let 'em roll. No papers and pencils, no more with AMF Magic Score. It tells you when to bowl and where. Lights up when you make that spare. No adding up numbers, no more with AMF Magic Score. So bring the whole family in. They'll have a ball just knocking down pins. Never bowl without it, no more. Bowling's more fun with Magic Score. You knock 'em down, Magic Score adds 'em up. Magic Score from AMF.
Well, Brandon Rassiopi had that match in his grasp and let it slip through his fingers. A missed 3-pin and then a missed 10-pin opened the door for Josh Collins. But then Josh had to take advantage, and he did, throwing strikes in the 8th, 9th, and 10th to seize the opportunity. I know it's a tough way for Brandon to have to learn a lesson, but he can take satisfaction from being the winningest player among U15 boys this year and from being named the GYBT's U15 Bowler of the Year. But it's Joshua Collins who's advancing to match 3 in our stepladder, where he'll face this tournament's defending champion, our 2-seed, CJ Petrin. And CJ, with the option, has elected to let Josh lead off. And Josh finds the pocket on his opening toss and puts 10 back. Well, CJ has grown quite a bit since we saw him a year ago in this event. It seems like he's about 8 inches taller. I don't know if he actually is or not, or maybe I've shrunk. But he's also made some changes to his game. When we saw him a year ago, he was a low-rev, straight ball bowler. And now he's more behind the ball. He's got his fingers more under the ball. He is getting many more revs. And these kids are going to have to contend with him for years to come. And there's a spare in the first frame by CJ. Well, let's take a closer look at what I'm talking about. Here he is a year ago on the left, and look where his hand is at release. It's about where Brandon's was when we showed you that close-up a while ago. But look where it is now, behind the ball, and the fingers are more under it. Much more powerful delivery now. A little unlucky that he left that stone 7, but he will be well served by the changes he's made. Like on shots like that in the half pocket where he slaps out the 10. I'm not sure he would have done that a year ago. Although heaven knows he was carrying just about everything last year. All right, Josh with a strike up can take a quick lead with a double. Oh, but the messenger doesn't deliver the message this time. And the 7 stubbornly refuses to fall. He threw everything at it. And he covers the spare. So we're even through the first 2 frames. Well, Josh didn't get a chance to bowl CJ in the stepladder last year. He lost in sudden death in the opening match to Charlie. And Charlie went on to lose to CJ in the second match. Well, he sent that one out into the weeds. But he leaves a makeable spare. Could have been worse. Could have been a washout. The 1-3-6. As I sometimes say, every once in a while you just got to open the barn doors and let them run. And that time he did. Oh, and he chopped the spare. Well, that's no fun. So an opening for C.J. Petrin. See if he can take advantage here. No. Through the nose and leaves a very difficult split. As baby splits go, this is one of the hardest. The 3-9-10. You can make the 3-10 and leave the 9, or you can make sure and get the 9 and the ball won't deflect enough to get the 10. But he takes care of it with ease. That is well done. C.J. Petrin showing them all how to make the 3-9-10. Watch this. He gets it out wide enough and gets enough on it that it takes out both the 3 and the 9. And the ball takes out the 10. Ball took out all 3 pins, actually. Well, another one he cut short. Just not giving it room. We talk about trust. You got to trust the ball to the right. He leaves the 6-10. He will move left and go cross lane at it. Oh no. Well, he went straight at it, but he went a little wide of the mark, and there's an open frame. So they exchange gifts early in this match, and we're right back where we started, all even. And Josh cuts one short. Maybe a little transition. Maybe time to move his feet a little right. Sure, those are the thoughts that are going through his head, although right now he's got to be thinking about making this spare. And he gets it. And that keeps this match all even. Well, we expected to see a few more strikes than we've seen so far on this pattern. Like that. That was a solid hit.
Good shot, Josh.
Came in just a little high. That 8-pin was late in going, but go it did. And CJ comes in a little high, but trips out the 4. So a good break for C.J. Petrin. Watch this one. Watch the 2-pin. That's the 3rd one from the left. It'll go to the left wall and come back and get the 4 and the 7. That was left off his hand, and he leaves the 3-6-10. CJ, who lives in Hickson, Tennessee. Let's see if we can pick out why that ball went high. Well, look at his right shoulder. It has passed the left shoulder. And when the right shoulder outraces the left, you're going to pull it left every single time. I started to say CJ lives up in the Chattanooga area. Oh my goodness gracious, another open frame. now Josh, with a strike working, can run away and hide with a couple more here in the 6th and 7th. Now that is wide. As soon as it came off his hand, that looked like it was heading way wider than he would have liked it. And he's got the 1-3-6. Got to be careful with this one. Move your feet about 3 or 4 boards to the left. Throw it over your strike target. Just like that. Well, we have 4 strikes so far this game. 2 by each player. Not what we were expecting. And Josh nearly gets the pocket 7-10. But the messenger this time saves him. Watch the head pin go to the right wall. And it will come back across the lane and remove the 7. And he takes care of the spare. So an 11-pin lead. And now it's time for CJ to get busy. He struck on this right lane the last time he was up bowling on it. He'd like to get another one right here. Well, that's as good as you can do right there. That was 10 back. His release is just night and day from what it was a year ago. And he's going to be getting more and more strikes like that. He's also going to be getting a lot of off hits that carry as well, just because of the added power. But the one thing the added power won't give you, as a rule, is more carry when you hit high. It's actually usually the player that plays a little straighter with a flatter entry angle that carries more of those high hits, tripping 4s and such. CJ would do well to keep it in that half pocket. He covers the 4. And this match stays close. Josh's high game in this tournament, a 237. CJ closed with a 236, the 15th game of qualifying. High hit leaves the 6. Seems like nobody can quite pull away. We're not getting the strikes we were expecting, but we are getting pretty close matches. covers the 6. And he will take a 10-pin lead into the 9th and 10th. Now the pros will tell you that they earn their living in the 9th and 10th. And some of these youth bowlers have their eyes set on becoming pros one day, so they might as well learn now how to get it done in the closing frames. This is where your bread is buttered. But Josh cuts through the nose again and leaves a difficult spare, the 2-4-8. Very choppable. Put the ball on the left side of the 2, let it hook on through, and carry out the 8. The ball will touch all 3 pins if you throw it correctly at this. Oh, he nearly chopped it. But he gets it anyway. But now we have a match that's within a mark. And because of that short count in the 9th, Josh has opened the door for CJ, who can get up and strike in the 9th, 10th, and 11th and shut Josh out. Pulled it. So an 8 count will keep this match within a mark, but now CJ, no matter what he does in the 10th, he can't shut out Josh. Josh will have his destiny in his own hands, no matter what CJ does here. Ooh. That's why you use the big ball. All right, well, the situation is this. CJ, with 132 in the 8th and a spare up, he can shoot 182. As we see that conversion again. So he can shoot 182. If he does, that'll force Josh to double. But no. Not only does he not strike, but he gives up 3 pins in count. So now the best he can do is 169. Josh will need a mark in the 10th. Count is important here. Get all you can. Okay. Something disturbed him. Looked like somebody was bowling over on lane 7 as he was heading up there. Might have been something else. It might have been his foot slipping, or maybe a little perspiration on his hand. He felt the ball slip on his thumb. Whatever, he's doing the smart thing. Sets the ball down, goes completely through his routine again. And makes a world-class shot on his fill ball and shoots 169. So the situation is this. If Josh strikes on the first ball on the 10th, he wins. If he doesn't strike, he will need to spare and get a little count. But that's the shutout ball right there. That gives him 171, even if he doesn't show up to throw another shot. Watch it. Comes in light. Parts the Red Sea. And there's the wall shot just for good measure. He didn't need it. He's got this one put away. Well, C.J. Petrin may look back on this match and think that he didn't bowl all that well, but I think there were a couple of shots that could have struck that didn't. Starting with that stone 7 in the first frame. But a couple of open frames did him in. And it's Joshua Collins who will be moving on to our championship match, where he will face Logan Fossum. It's Lofo and Josh next.
Little Jake needs to pick up the 10 pin to win the Junior League Championship.
The final score doesn't really do justice to how close that last match was, as Josh got up in the 10th frame needing a mark to win, and he got it. But I have a feeling this is not the last time we will see C.J. Petrin. The changes he's made in his game will serve him well going forward as he ages into the U20 division. He's a proven winner. Another proven winner is Josh Collins, who is now one game away from sweeping both the Pepsi tournament and now the GYBT Tournament of Champions in the U15 boys division. But standing in his way in the championship match is Logan Fossum, who, for the second year in a row, is the tournament leader going into the stepladder finals. Lofo has been performing at a high level for a long time in these tournaments, and after a disappointing performance in the championship round at the Pepsi, he seems way past due to finally win one. He finished qualifying today as strong as anyone in this field, and he seems primed and ready. These two fellas are good friends on and off the lanes, but for the next 20 minutes, they will be fierce competitors. This should be a great match. Josh comes up light in that shaker zone. And now we get our first look today at Logan Fossum. This kid has been knocking at the door in these big statewide tournaments for a long time. He's due.
Nice shot, Logan.
And that is what you expect out of him, a solid pocket hit. And they all go down. Well, he's been a mainstay in the GYBT tournaments for years now. Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? Sometimes when you see one like that go, it just makes you think maybe it's your day. His right shoulder outraced his left that time, and you're always going to throw it left when that happens. But he gets the big domino strike. And watch his reaction to it. He knows he got away with murder that time. All right. And Josh shreds the rack. It was a lazy shred, but a shred nonetheless. Watch this. I don't even think it was the 5 pin that got the 10. Watch the head pin. Yeah, it's the 1 pin that got the 10. You don't see that pin action all the time. Whatever works. Didn't give that one quite enough room to the left. And so he's got a split. The 2-7. We've seen this once or twice today. Put the ball left of the 2, let it deflect into the 7. That's how it's done right there. An excellent shot. So good, we'll watch it again. Textbook. Oh my goodness, well, Logan comes in light this time. And he leaves essentially the same split, but with the 5. Now, there are 2 ways to make this. We recommend going on the left side of the 2. Let the 2 take out the 5. The ball will drive over into the 7. But you can make it on the other side of the 2 as well. And that's how he chooses to go at it. And, well, it's a spare. We'll watch Logan's method of going at the 2-5-7. He goes at the right side of the 2, drives it over into the 7. Whatever it takes. Cuts that one a little short. Ball hooks high, leaves the 3-6. So he will move left and go cross lane at it. He'll throw a straight ball. He has had that method down of throwing a straight ball right up the back of the ball for years. Long before most youth players learn that shot. All right, Josh working on a spare. And slaps out the 7 for a strike. Watch this one again. Right over about the 9th board at the arrows. He gets it out to about 5 at the break point. And now he can extend his lead to 13 if he can catch a double here. Just like that. Well, that was big. As scarce as strikes have been today, when you can string them, that's huge. And a little high, but Logan collapses the 4, 7, and 10. And he'll take that one. Watch it. He's playing deeper on the lane around the 4th arrow. And the 10 just goes out. And he comes in light and carries that half pocket hit. Little Wally. Watch it. The head pin will go to the left wall and do all the damage. And another one by Josh. That's 3 in a row. And all of a sudden, these lanes have heated up a little bit. Josh moves over to the left side. Once again, he can extend the lead to 23 with a strike in the 7th. Oh! Well, he should be ashamed of himself, and I think he is. But he's going to take it anyway. Logan had a couple of words for him on that one, too. But that's a 4-bagger for Josh now, and now Logan's got to match him just to stay close. How about that one right there? Logan knew he had to have that one. Watch this. Showing a little fire. And now he can get back within 3 with another strike here in the 8th. How about it? What's happened to these lanes? It might have something to do with the caliber of talent we're watching here. Watch this half pocket hit. Mix them up. And watch his reaction to it. He knew that was huge. And the string breaks after 4 in a row by Josh. So now that opens the door for Logan. A conversion of the 3. And heading into the 9th and 10th, 2 pins separate these two. Who will get it done? There's a solid pocket hit by Josh for a strike in the 9th. Worth a second look. Crunch berries. But now Logan can shut him out. Well, he could have. He needed that strike. Had he struck in the 9th, 10th, and 11th, that would have been all she wrote. But now, Logan remains 3 pins back. With the 10 pin. And now Logan, with his back to the wall after an unfortunate and ill-timed mistake in the 9th, he can still strike out for 232. That would force Josh to mark in the 10th with good count. Well, there's the first one. But now to have any kind of realistic chance, Logan's going to need this strike in the 11th. Oh, man, he threw that one good. Ringing 10. And he knows this title may have just slipped through his fingers. With a spare, he shoots 222. And Josh needs 8 pins in 2 balls. 8 pins in 2 balls to win the GYBT Tournament of Champions in the U15 boys division. And he got it done with the first ball. And Josh Collins has just swept the Pepsi and the GYBT TOC. And what a season this has turned out to be for this young left-hander. There's the shutout ball right there. Well, if you had told me Logan would shoot 222 in this match, I'd have said that probably will be good enough. Josh goes high on his 11th frame shot, gets 6, doesn't matter. He accepts congratulations from Logan, but Logan is going to have to wait until next year to win one of these. He put on a furious charge to get into the lead. Brandon had held the lead through 13 games, and then Logan put a 244 on him in the 15th game to seize the 1 seed. But it's Joshua Collins who has won 3 matches today. He is the U15 champion in the boys at the GYBT Tournament of Champions.
If a few extra pins are what you want, maybe you just need a little more power.
Logan Fossum was a worthy opponent and bowled great, firing a strong 222 game. But it was Joshua Collins who had more than enough strikes to climb the stepladder from 4th to 1st to claim the Georgia Youth Bowlers Tour U15 Boys title at the 2018 GYBT Tournament of Champions. On the heels of his win at the Pepsi tournament in April, this makes for a compelling argument for the Georgia State Youth Bowling Association's Youth Bowler of the Year award. But that's for later. Right now, we congratulate Josh on his win today. And now, it's time to turn our attention to 5 other young athletes who are chomping at the bit to get things underway in the U20 Boys division. So, let's meet our 5 finalists. Qualifying in the 5th position, Josh Donahue of Powder Springs, Georgia. As you saw in the very start of our show today, Josh snuck into the top 5 on the strength of a 300 game in the 15th and final qualifying game today. He's on a hot streak, having won a couple of Top Dog Junior tournaments in the last few months, and would love to ride this momentum to the top today. He'll face our number 4 qualifier, Jonathan Lovett of Columbia, South Carolina. 5 years ago, at the age of 14, Jonathan set the record for the highest score in the history of the USBC Youth Open Championships when he fired games of 267, 275, and 289 for a series total of 831 in the U15 division. This Dexter All-American would love nothing more than to go on a tear like that today. The winner of that opening match will advance to face our number 3 qualifier, Charles Bostic of Powder Springs, Georgia. Charlie finished 4th a year ago in this event in the U15 division, bowing to the eventual winner, CJ Petrin. He won a couple of GYBTs this year and captured the Timothy Spencer Rice tournament in Greenville, South Carolina back in April when he averaged over 250 in match play. This is Charlie's first year competing in U20, and he's guaranteed of no worse than another 4th place finish. The winner of that match will bowl the number 2 qualifier, Terrell Ingalls of Loganville, Georgia. This powerful young player finished 2nd in this event 1 year ago and finished the 2017-18 Fall League season with the highest league average of any youth bowler in the state of Georgia. Terrell came within a final round of contending for a spot on Team USA this year. Now, Terrell has several colleges chasing after him for their bowling team. But the business on his mind right now is to get back to the championship match to have a second crack at the defending champion, who is once again our tournament leader, Peyton Smith of Grayson, Georgia. That's right. 1 year ago, it came down to Peyton and Terrell for the title, and Peyton had his way in that match, so he's hoping to go back-to-back today. This former Georgia Youth Bowler of the Year, who has been arguably the best youth bowler in the state of Georgia for the past several years, now bowls for his college team at Emmanuel. Peyton would love to do what Josh Collins did today in the U15 Boys division by following his win at Pepsi back in April with a win here at the GYBT Tournament of Champions. He'll get his chance to accomplish that feat a little later in the championship match. And that's our impressive field in the U20 Boys division on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Here's how we got to this point. In round 1 on Saturday, Terrell Ingalls made his presence known right out of the gate when he fired a 276 in the opening game before finishing the first round in 3rd, as Peyton Smith and Charles Bostic slipped past him. Then in round 2, Terrell took over the lead on the strength of consistent high scores. Peyton Smith and Charles Bostic held strong, as Kyle Bentley and Dawson Stewart rounded out the top 5 in 4th and 5th, respectively. Then, finally, in this morning's 3rd and final round of qualifying, Peyton Smith climbed to the leader of the pack once again, with Terrell and Charlie in 2nd and 3rd. But the big moves in round 3 came from Jonathan Lovett and Josh Donahue. Jonathan closed with games of 262, 269, and 257. That's 790 for 3 games, for those of you without a calculator, which moved Jonathan all the way up from 8th to 4th. And Josh Donahue needed a solid 15th game to secure his spot in the championship round. He got it, and then some, with that 300 game. So, with those preliminaries out of the way to set the scene, there's nothing left to do now but get match 1 started between our number 5 seed, Josh Donahue, and our number 4 seed, Jonathan Lovett. There's enough talent in these 5 bowlers to give us every reason to believe the fireworks are about to begin. Jonathan, being the higher finisher, of course, had the choice of starting lanes, and he wants to finish first, which means he's going to let Josh Donahue start the match on the left lane. And Josh starts with a strike. Coming up just a little high and tripping the 4. But it's not how, it's how many. We get a good look at this two-hander's approach. Solid as a rock, he sticks the landing every time. And that's how it's done right there. And now we get our first look at Jonathan Lovett, making his first appearance on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. This youngster out of South Carolina. Ooh, getting that 8-pin to fall out was big. Makes this a decidedly more makeable split. The 210 put the ball over on the left of the 2 and send it over into the 10. If that 8 had been standing, it would have been virtually impossible. Not completely impossible, but improbable. But there is a conversion of the 210, and that'll get his blood pumping. We'll take another look at this one. Watch this, it just catches a piece of the 2, sends it over into the 10. That is textbook. That one comes up a little high, and he leaves the 3, 6, 10. Here's how you make that. Put the ball over on the right side of the 3. The ball will get the 6 will get the 10. Or not. He hits the 3 on the left side, and that is one of many ways to miss that spare. So an open frame. And Josh Donahue takes an early lead. And finds the pocket with that one and sends the pins running for cover. So a double right out of the gate on top of Jonathan's open, and Josh Donahue has a 24-pin lead already. one crosses over. And now Josh has got the baby split with 310. I was just going to say, you might not want to get too cozy thinking you've got a lead over Jonathan Lovett with the scores he's shown that he's capable of shooting. And that's an open by Josh. So they exchange opens. Well, as we mentioned in the setup, Jonathan shot .831 at the USBC Youth Open 5 years ago when he was 14. I don't know about you, but I didn't have any advanced skills at the age of 14. Heck, I was still playing with my boogers. Well, there's an 8 count. He was looking for a strike there to try to put a double on the board and catch Josh, but not to be. Jonathan's last 3 games in qualifying this morning: 262, 269, 257 for a cozy little 790 for the last 3 games. He is capable of running off some enormous scores. Telephone numbers, as we used to call them. I'm told this young man just made the dean's list at University of Pikeville, where he attends school. Through the nose. And the 4-6-10. Not a lot you can do with this one. Just take the 2, throw it hard, and hope something bounces out. Every once in a while, you'll see someone try to cut the 6 real thin, get it to topple over into the 4. It's about a 1 in 5,000 shot. You're better off just taking the 2. And that's what he does. But that expands Josh Donaghy's lead. And obviously this guy capable of stringing them too. He shot 300 earlier today. With shots like that, just overpowering the pins. Watch this. Any other player might have left the pocket 7-10. They go down a little late, but they're going down. It's like there's something in back just sucking them off the back of the pin deck. Well, that's the one shot that Josh has to look out for. He can carry that half pocket, that light shot all day long. But when it cuts through the nose, the power ball is not usually much help. If anything, it's a hindrance. You're more likely to leave splits. But he takes care of the 3-6 and maintains that 24-pin edge over Jonathan Lovett. Now, when I read the article online about Jonathan's big series at the USBC Youth Open, they had a picture of him, and he didn't look anything like this. I don't think he's had a haircut since he bowled that .831. which is okay by me. I used to have hair halfway down my back. But just saying, I had to call him to make sure it was the right guy. But honestly, how many Jonathan Lovitts are there that are capable of bowling big scores, living where he lives? Well, it was him, all right. And he converts the 6. But he's looking for strikes, and he hasn't been able to find one yet. Where did you leave your strikes? Oh my goodness. All that extra pin action, it takes the 2-4-8-10, turns it into the 2-4-10, and then the 8-ball. Watch the 8-pin. The 8-pin is going to fall forward. Something hits it from behind, and it topples forward and takes out the 2, and the 2-4-8-10 becomes the 4-10. Well, that's not really all that helpful. Well, the 4-10 is makeable. It's about a 10-to-1 shot for a highly skilled player. Show us a trick shot, Jonathan. Ooh. That was close. But that is another open. And he's looking for strikes. Well, once again, Josh, high on the head pin, leaves the 3-6 again. When you put as much hand on the ball as he does, the lanes are going to transition a little quicker. But he runs by the 3-pin, and now he has an open. So he doesn't take advantage of the gift that Jonathan gave him in the 6th. Instead, he hands it right back. Might be time to make a little adjustment with the feet. Maybe the eyes, too. Little left. About like that. Got to be happy with that one. But now Jonathan has, well, looks like he's grabbing another bowling ball. Got to do something different. Well, put the red one down in the chair, so it's coming off the rack, and this green one looks like he's going to give it a go. Takes a pretty short approach. He's standing well in front of the front dots. Well, that one worked. Good shot there. Got that ball to snap hard on the back end, playing deep inside. Look at where he's playing. Right about the 5th arrow, sending it out to about 7. Covering a lot of boards. And something disturbs him. Something other than being down 25 pins disturbed him. So he's going to go through his routine all over again. Crosses over and gets a double. Gave that one a little extra loft. May have caught it a little bit on the upswing with his fingers, causing the ball to overreact. That may be why it went Brooklyn, but he'll take it. Made this a match. Josh puts him down in a big hurry and moves back out in front by 25. Josh going at a 193 pace. Jonathan a possible 198. Well, Josh just upped his pace by 10 with that strike. And now he's got Jonathan in a bit of a squeeze. This is a big-time strike right here. Slaps out the 10, sends a messenger at it just in case it was thinking of staying up. Oh! And that time the messenger does not deliver the message. Wow, that was a good ball. That had a couple of ways it could have struck. Watch the head pin go to the left wall and it comes back, but it misses the 10 pin in front. And now Jonathan's in trouble. He covers the 10, but now the best he can do is 177. Josh is just going to need count in the 10th frame. He's not even going to need a mark. The ringing 10. And now that reduces Jonathan's possible score to 166. If Josh gets abducted by aliens and takes 0 in the 10th, he's got 163. And by the way, I hope he doesn't get abducted by aliens. Strike for 166. Well, 163. So all Josh Donahue needs to do now is just keep the ball on the lane and stay behind the foul line. I think he can handle it. And that'll do it. So Josh Donahue wins the opening match here in the U20 boys division. And he is going to move on to meet his friend Charles Bostic in match 2. Wow. That's 8 strikes. Eight out of 11. That's 9 out of 12. And don't forget, the last game he bowled was a 300. Look out for Josh today. But he's moving on to match 2, where he'll face Charles Bostic when we return.
It's a strike. Bowling's fun, and AMF is the secret. AMF automatic pin spotters, a true quality AMF ball, and sure-footed AMF bowling shoes add up to the perfect combination. And remember, superbly made AMF bags carry bowling ball and shoes the best. Get AMF balls, bags, and shoes from the man who knows your game, your bowling proprietor.
A couple of splits for Jonathan that he was unable to convert. And then Josh slamming the door shut with a 6-bagger to close out the game spelled the difference in our opening match, as it all seemed to go Josh's way. The final score, 223 to 163. And now in match 2, that sets up an intriguing matchup between two good friends and neighbors, as our number 5 seed Josh Donahue faces our number 3 seed Charlie Bostic. Charlie better come correct with his A game, because if there's one thing I've learned about Josh Donahue in these past few months watching him bowl on Prodigy and in league, it's that once he gets locked in on a pair of lanes, he very rarely loses it. These two know each other very well. They go to the same school together. And Charlie throws a precision missile and takes down all 10 on his opening toss. And he's got that look about him like he means business today. Watch this one. There's never a doubt about this one. 10 in the pit. Now, Charlie brought Josh to us to join our Roswell Varsity League at Brunswick Zone Roswell. And Josh shot 270 something the first game of league he bowled there. With shots like that, you know, I've commented before, he's a bad man. But you know what? This is as nice a kid, polite, smart, respectful as you're ever going to find. His parents should be very proud, and I know they are. And they're great people, too. As are Charlie's. That is one common thread you find with most of these junior bowlers who are very successful. They have supportive parents, and it's a strong home life. No! Well, now, that 4-pin just wanted to go down, but not so fast, Buckaroo. Oh, the leaning tower of pins standing. Well, here's how you make the 4-9. Just Slide the 4 over into the 9. Oh, that was close. What an open frame. Well, they say that football is a game of inches. I'll show you a game of inches. How about an inch, if even? That's how close that was. And Charlie comes in a little high. But he gets that 4-7 to go out. Little trippy 4. When you got that going, might be your day. He knows he got away with one that time, but it's a pretty good ball. He's throwing it a little straighter today than we've seen him throw it at times. When you come in on a little straighter angle, you'll trip a few 4s. Not so much when you got the big entry angle. But that was just too high. Nearly a 4-6, but he broke it up. And he's happy with a 9 count. That could have been disaster there. Well, as we mentioned earlier, we've got the girls bowling to our side. Now, these matches that we're covering now with the U20s are going on at the same time that the U15s that you saw earlier. We've just time shifted a bit, and we're showing you the U20s after the U15s, but the girls on our left are the U20 girls. And those girls were on our right when you were watching the U15s. And there's a buffer pair on our right here, and then a practice pair to the right of that. Well, looked like he slipped at the foul line that time. Ball hooks high, and he pulls out 5 and leaves the 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. Just one way to make this one. Slide the 3 over into the 4 and hope you get both the 4 and the 7. But you got to hit the 3 to get the 4 and the 7. So that's 7 out. That's no good. Back-to-back opens for Josh. And now he's going to have to get back on the horse and start striking again. That's how he'll do it, too. Half pocket hit, not a problem for Josh. Watch this. This ball, you or I would leave a 10-pin, if not an 8-10 on this most of the time. Watch the head pin come off the wall and just wipe out the 10. And Charlie shreds the rack. Well, we are down to a group of players now that are legitimately some of the best junior bowlers in the state of Georgia. You are going to see some real talent. And I count Jonathan in that group too, although he's not really from Georgia, but he bowls in the All-Star tournaments. South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia all field teams in this all-star competition. They have 3 tournaments each year, 1 in each state. They have different teams that compete. Charlie's on that team. In Georgia, a bunch of these kids that you've seen today are on those teams, and Jonathan Bowles for South Carolina. And that's how he learned about the GYBT, from some of the kids from Georgia who were bowling in those all-star tournaments as well. That's the kind of shot Josh needed to get back in this. That double cuts Charlie's lead down to 26. And that's what Josh is capable of doing, just overpowering the pins. The only thing he was possibly going to leave there was a 9-pin, and it went late, but it went. He needs to keep this string going. And he does. Another one of those half-pocket hits that's just not a problem for Josh Donahue. Watch the 6-pin come out of the channel and just chop out the 10. All right, Charlie knows he's got a live one. Look out. Wash out. The 1, 2, 4, 10. Just got a little careless with that one, sent it wide. Here's how you make the washout. Throw the 1 over into the 10. Pretty straightforward here. But it doesn't get up quite enough. And so now Charlie is open in the 6th, and all of a sudden his big lead is just about gone. This is a 1-pin match. Well, we expected this match to be close. 2 close friends, 2 quality players. They know each other well and know each other's games well. Sometimes they travel together to tournaments. Charlie looking to regroup. Good shot. That was right in the hole. Watch it again. See you later. Charlie looks very focused. Oh, nearly another 4-9. Breaks it up, leaves the 4. If he'd struck, he could have taken the lead. Looks down at his feet. I think these approaches are a little on the slippery side. Two pins separating these two players. And Josh shakes him up. Hit him thin and watch him spin. But now Charlie with the advantage. He's got the strike working. We'll watch this last strike again. Josh hits pretty light. Head pin goes over and chops out the 4 and 7. And Charlie taking a re-rack. You're allowed to do that. Well, and that is just perfectly executed right there. Not sure what he saw that he didn't like, but you'll see players take a re-rack quite often if the 1 and 3 pins are set a little closer together than normal. When you see the 3 pin a little off spot setting to the left, players will sometimes re-rack because that setup is kind of begging for a 10 pin leave. But now watch the right side of the rack go down right in line. That is a perfectly executed strike right there. And now Charlie's lead grows to 22. So those strikes in the 8th and 9th by Charlie, huge. And they put the pressure on Josh. Look at Charlie. He knows how big that one was. He's talking to himself. Oh! Well, you leave enough of those, you'll start talking to yourself too. Ringing 10. Boy, and Josh needed that one too. That would have cut the lead to 12. But now he's going to head into the 10th frame, trailing by more than 20. Oh no. He's going to be trailing more than 30. Big mistake. So now the most Josh can hope for is 190. There's one strike. He needs 2 more. Big turnaround here at the end of this match. This looked like it was going to go down to the very last ball. I love me some light shakers. He needs another one here. Just a little bit high. Man, did that thing break or what? That looked like a pocket 6 pin, but it was actually a little high. It just broke a little extra at the end. He's going to shoot 180. And it's not going to be enough. He knows it. Well, that missed spare in the 9th is frustrating, but it looks like Charlie may have had his number anyway. But Charlie just needs a few pins here, and this one is going to be over. And that's all she wrote. With that ball, Charlie claims match 2. So Josh Donahue is going to finish in 4th place. At the 2018 Georgia Youth Bowlers Tour Tournament of Champions. Not a bad weekend. Not what he hoped for, I know, but he'll remember that 300 game he bowled today. I can guarantee you that. But Charlie just came out and spanked him. 234 with a strike. And that's what it's going to be. A six-bagger to finish. And Charles Bostic dispatches his friend Josh Donahue. And now he turns to face another one of his good friends, Terrell Ingalls, in match 3 next. Well, in match 1, it was Josh who closed the game with a six-bagger to win. And in match 2, it was Charlie who put a six-bagger on Josh on his final 6 balls to slam the door. Josh threw it well all game, but a few critical mistakes spelled the difference. So it's a 4th place finish for Josh Donahue, and Charles Bostic is moving on to match 3, where he'll face his BFF, Terrell Ingalls. These two travel to tournaments together and hang out, but on the lanes, they're fierce rivals, and as good friends so often do, you better believe they both really want to win this match. And I'm sure at some level, both of them figured all along that to win this tournament, they'd likely have to get past the other, as they both always seem to be in the hunt in these big events. Now, Terrell, being the higher finisher, had the option. And he wants to lead off so that he will know what he needs when he finishes last. Ooh, well, that's not what he wanted to start. Ball breaks high. He leaves the 3-4, 6-7. We saw this earlier with the 10-pin. Shoot it the same way. Throw the 3 over into the 4-7. Hope for the best. Terrell will use his plastic ball. And just misses a little wide. So, an open frame to begin. Well, I guess if you're going to have one of those, better to have it early than late. Not that there's ever a good time. Well, and Charlie comes in a little light that time. You see him testing the approach here at the back. He slid about 6 feet, it looked like. These approaches are pretty slick. He covers the spare, no problem. So an early lead. And once again, Charlie taking a re-rack. Let's see if we can see what he doesn't like here. The rack looks pretty good to me, but this is not a straight-on angle. Not sure what it is he doesn't like, but player is entitled to re-rack if the pins appear to be off spot. I would argue that you're obligated to re-rack if the pins are off spot. A little high. Almost tripped out the 4-7. Looked like that pin was trying to lean into the 7 at the end, too. He's still getting a little wiggle down there. He'll go cross lane at the 7. Throws it hard and straight. That's how you do it. You notice Charlie does not change balls. He just flattens out his wrist and takes all the turn off it. That's a solid strike by Terrell. And he too checking out the approach. Well, Terrell will show you his emotions. He is very entertaining to watch. I'm not sure what that gesture with his hands meant. But yes, those hands produced that strike. And I'm sorry to say they also produced that shot. Look at that expression on his face. You don't know where that shot came from, but, well, sometimes I just say I'm having an out-of-bowling experience. All right, for the 1-2, just move your feet a couple of boards right. Well, he's going with his plastic ball. That works too. I was going to say with the 1-2, you just take your strike ball, move a couple boards right, throw it like a strike, just let the ball drift over to the left side, but Terrell knows best for Terrell. And his way works just fine for him. All right, Charlie looking for his first strike of the match. And he found it there. Hiding under the cushions. Watch this. He's going to come in very light on the head pin. The head pin is going to go to the left wall, and it's going to come back and catch the back of the 2-pin. How about that? And watch his reaction to it. Thank you very much. Now that is left of left. Well, sometimes you get a lucky one, and deep down inside, your conscience tells you, you know you got away with one. We're going to take one back now. So he leaves the 6. Fairly routine spare. And down it goes. And he gets some applause from his buddy Terrell. And Terrell is through playing. That was a solid strike right there. And he's testing out the approach. Apparently these players are all having issues with the slippery approaches. And that's why we have interchangeable soles. To put a different slide sole on the bowling shoe to match up with the different types of approaches. Oh my goodness. The Stone 8. Well, you want to see what causes a stone 8? Watch this. Watch the head pin get paralyzed between the ball and the 5 pin just enough to send the 5 pin straight back, chopping it off the 8. They say the 8 pin is the only true tap in bowling. I would agree. He covers it, but that should have been a double. And this match should have been closed down to just 2 pins. But as it is, Charlie maintains a 12-pin lead. And now he's back up on the right lane, where the last time he was up on this lane, he threw a strike. But not this time. That ball comes up light, and he leaves the 2-4-8. Not quite as difficult as if the 5 were standing and he had the bucket, which is eminently more choppable than this. But there are ways to miss this as well. But he takes care of it. And we've got a close match. 9 pins separating these two. Kind of like what you would expect with Terrell and Charlie. 2 peas in a pod. Oh, man. The Ripper sends the 5 over, but it goes in front of the 7. Swisher 7. Well, and look at this. Charlie, I don't know if he was about to foul. I think he felt himself slipping too much. He didn't foul, but caught his balance and ran to the right. If he had stepped over the foul line on the adjacent lane, it still would have been a foul. Terrell finds the pocket. He has struck every time on the right lane. Charlie's only strike came on the right lane as well. Terrell's problem is he hasn't thrown a strike on the left lane yet. And he still hasn't. Something different going on over there. Well, he was high in the first frame, high again in the 7th. And now the pin setter doesn't want to cycle. There it goes. He was going to summon help, but the machine finally woke up. Yeah, he plays this down the right side of the lane. I'd rather see him throw it cross lane. And that's why. He did that once before on Prodigy, and it cost him a match. You play for the 3-6 cross lane, and you reduce the chance of taking the 3 off the 6. There's a strike by Charlie. The lead 20 as we head into the final 3 frames. as you see him slap out the 10 pin with authority. Pulled that one though. That was left off his hand. And doubles are just not coming very easily this match. The strikes are all happening on the right lane for some reason. There's a spare for Charlie. Well, what happens when you're hitting one lane and you can't hit the other is you just gotta not lose the good lane. So Terrell, having struck on the right lane every time so far, he needs another one here in the 8th. He will finish on this lane. But it comes up a little high. Well, sometimes when that happens, it means you're about to start hitting the other lane. Sometimes. That's not a hard and fast rule, I've found. But it does seem to happen sometimes. And Terrell covers the 4. Well, Terrell with a possible 195. Charlie going at a 195 pace. So anything can happen. He gives it a big thumbs up, like, sure. He's high, and then he's light. Can't seem to find the sweet spot. It's frustrating when that happens, I know. But he covers the 8. Well, Charlie's got the hammer in his hand now, and I'm not talking about the bowling ball brand, because I'm pretty sure he won't be throwing that brand. Oh, man, what a break. Wow. Oh, what Terrell would give for just one of those on the left lane. Watch this. Just tips it over. And we'll watch his reaction to that one. He was in suspense for a moment. And there's a strike on the left lane. And that is the shutout ball. Watch it again. This is the one that puts it away. And with that strike, Charles Bostic has punched his ticket for the championship match. He liked it so much, he went and got another. Well, match started kind of slow. But Charlie, with 3 strikes in the 9th, 10th, and 11th, Going to finish with a 6 count, but that's 4 strikes in 5 throws in the 7th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. So he's got to feel pretty good moving into the championship match. Yep, well, he's smiling, but I think he's boiling inside because he knows he was right around the pocket all game and just couldn't buy a double. If he carries anything in the 3rd, 5th, 7th, this might have been a different match. Especially if he'd struck in the 3rd and 5th, he would have had a 5-bagger. We'd have been looking at a very different outcome. Terrell hoping to get back into the championship match. He bowled Peyton for the title in this event last year. Came up a little short. But he will not get the rematch he was hoping for. Of course. Now they go. Well, it's Charles Bostic and Peyton Smith. They will bowl for the title when we return next. Now, bring the spirit of Prodigy Bowlers Tour to your bowling center with Prodigy Bowlers Tour t-shirts and sportswear, including collared shirts with the Prodigy logo printed on the back to show that you support junior bowling. Check out the entire assortment of Prodigy t-shirts in the Brunswick store. Visit ProdigyBowlersTour.com to see the selection. That's ProdigyBowlersTour.com. Terrell just couldn't catch a break that game. He was around the pocket most of the match, but couldn't buy a double to cut into Charlie's lead. And Charlie bowled a clean game, but until his strikes in the 9th, 10th, and 11th, he couldn't catch a double to pull away from Terrell. So it was kind of like two heavyweights going at each other all game, neither one ever landing the knockout blow. But 2 opens by Terrell along the way, the split in the first frame and the chopped 3-6 in the 7th, gave Charlie just enough breathing room to walk this one in at the end. So it's Charles Bostic who has advanced to the championship match, where he'll face Georgia Youth Bowling's Mr. Everything. Peyton Smith has been Youth Bowler of the Year and has won just about everything there is to win in youth bowling here in Georgia, including this event 1 year ago. He's 1 win away from going back-to-back. But his opponent, Charlie, is accustomed to finding himself in contention in big tournaments. So, as is the case in most big matches with 2 top-flight opponents, I expect this one might come down to who can perform in the 9th and 10th frames. Charlie's initial shot goes high, and he leaves the baby split, the 3-10. Here's how you make it. Put the ball right between them. Well, this is Charlie's first year in U20, and Peyton has 1 more year next year before he ages out. So you're looking at the present and the future. Charlie with an open to begin. And now Peyton will take his sweet time. A very deliberate player, but a very precision-oriented player. He's like a mechanic out there. See you later, Pins. We have seen this before on Prodigy. This guy can go out on a tough condition and shoot 240s like it's nothing. Pretty simple game, but he makes the same shot every time. And in a sport like bowling or golf, you want a repeating swing. And brother, he's got it. Close. That could have gone. Shaker 7. You won't see Peyton miss many spares either. He will take his time. And by throwing it relatively straight, he takes most of the variables out of play. This is a very cerebral player. That means smart, for those of you who don't know. He's a thinker. Well, so is Charlie, and he's thinking that should have struck. But a weak 10. He moves to the left side of the approach, goes cross lane at it. Hard and straight, just the way we teach it. These two players about as good an example as I can think of about the quality of the youth bowlers in the state of Georgia and the quality of the coaching that's available in the state of Georgia, as Charlie decides to take another re-rack here on lane 13. Something there he doesn't like. Well, that was pretty close. Just a little high. But the 4-pin stops him, and he'll have a simple spare. But I have a feeling he's going to need some strikes to stay in this match. He gets that one. Like all the great players, Peyton Smith will take his time getting up to the approach, but then once he's on the approach, he's ready to pull the trigger. Wow. Just like a machine. Well, this is his home house. This is also Terrell Ingles' home house. The youth program here at Brunswick Zone Lilburn, by far the best and biggest in this part of the country. Sharon Shortell has been running this program for a number of years, and she does a fantastic job here. I would love for our program to just move in the direction of getting to be as good as hers. Oh, now the plot thickens. As Peyton Smith comes in a little light and leaves the 2, 4, 8, 10. Well, we saw Jake Holbein make this in our opening match in the U15s today. This is how it's done. Get that ball over to the left of the 2 and hope you put enough English on the 4-pin that it'll take out the 8. He's not wasting any time. Ooh, well, he got 3 of them, but leaves the front one standing. Well, in all spare shooting, there is a key pin, and it is always the one in front, and you have to knock that one down if you want to make the spare. Now there's a strike by Charlie that opened by Peyton in the 4th, evened the match. And now Charlie puts a strike up, giving himself an opportunity to move out in front if he can catch a double here in the 5th. And that's exactly what he does. So a big turnaround here in the middle of the match. Let's take a look at Charlie's footwork and his Jordans. He had those shoes converted into bowling shoes by having some special soles put on them. Removable, of course. Got to be comfortable. Oh, man. Well, earlier we showed you the anatomy of a stone 8. Let's take a look at the stone 9. It's very similar. Watch the head pin get caught between the ball and the 5-pin, and it sends it straight back as the ball chops the 5 right off the 8. Now the stone 9 is also sometimes due to just too much entry angle. Peyton covers the 9. He gets a look on his face like those pins had the gall to stand when I threw the ball? How can that be? Must be nice. Yeah, that's just as solid as it gets. You know, it's easy to forget watching these kids that they're kids. Charlie's in high school. Peyton is just completing his first year of college. A high hit. That 6-pin doesn't quite go down, but I think it might have moved to the right a little bit, opening this spare up slightly, making it a little more choppable. So Charlie's going to want to be careful with this. He throws pretty straight when he's going at these cross-lane spares. And he gets it on the outside, so no chop is going to happen there. But the lead is just 8 pins, and now Peyton has a strike working. Charlie taking another re-rack. Something on this left lane is just not kosher with him. Must be getting a narrow pocket. That's usually why better players will take re-racks. You might shoot a wide pocket, but if that 3-pin is sitting off a little to the left, it's just begging to leave a 10-pin. But he shreds the rack that time, leaving no doubt. But now Peyton, with the strike up, has the opportunity to retake the lead. He struck on this lane in the first, third, and then in the 5th, he left a stone 9. So I'd say he's pretty wired on this lane. Boom goes the dynamite. And with that strike, Peyton takes the lead. This guy is dangerous with a bowling ball in his hand. Wow. He takes the lead by 2 with that double, and now he can extend it to 12 if he can put another one on top of it here in the 8th. But no, he goes high, gets an uncharacteristic short count, and surrenders the lead right back. And leaves a tricky spare here, the 3-6-10. Well, that big hook that you see him playing, he'll straighten that out, come right up the back of the ball, and go straight at the 3-6-10. That is perfectly done. You don't need no stinking spare ball when you got that versatility with your hand. All right, now Charlie has the advantage. He's got the strike up, leading by 1. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm not sure what happened, but players have been having difficulty with the approaches, maybe a little slippery. He must have felt like he was slipping, and he held on to the ball. He stepped past the foul line, but it's not a foul if you don't let go of the ball. But because he stepped out on the lane, he's going to want to check the bottom of his shoe because he may have oil on it now. He almost certainly does. But it doesn't seem to bother him. That was a big strike. It extends his lead to 11. Watch this. He will slap out the 10 with the 6. And now watch his reaction. He knows what a big shot that was, but this is just as big. Oh, he pulled it. No, he almost had the 5-10. That's the worst shot he's thrown all day. Well, that makes it a 10-pin match now. And that opens up the possibility of a tie. With that conversion, Charlie has 165 in the 8th with a spare up. If Peyton strikes out and Charlie strikes out, we have a tie. They would both finish with 215. Charlie was involved in a roll-off in the stepladder last year in the U15s against Josh Collins. He won that roll-off. Peyton just keeps blasting away. Watch this. Just machine-like. It's amazing. Right over the 4th arrow, and then out to about 5 or 6 at the break point. He won't show you much emotion. That's about the most you're gonna get. A little hand gesture. He keeps it all in, and he is very, very focused. This strike to even the match. And he trips the 4. Game on. Takes that little backward step like Pete Weber to get started. And he just rips through it. It looks pretty effortless, but it creates violent action down 60 feet away. This one right here would force Charlie to double. But no, the 10-pin remains. So with a conversion, he will shoot 204. Charlie will need a strike to win if Peyton covers this 10-pin. And he does. So now the most helpless feeling in bowling as Peyton goes to the bench, knowing that his fate is in Charlie's hands. Charlie needs a strike and a spare to win. If he doesn't strike, if he gets 9 spare strike, we have a tie. If he gets less than 9 on this ball, he loses. Whoa! What a time for a stone 8. Well, that definitely sets up the possibility of a tie. Charlie must make this 8-pin and then strike for a tie. Let's watch it again. Oh man, you can't throw it any better than that. Watch his reaction. He can't believe it. And now, to make matters worse, there's been a scoring malfunction. The scoring gave him a strike. Even the pin setter thought that was a strike. But now he must make this and then strike to tie. You're kidding. Peyton Smith has gone back-to-back. Peyton has won the U20 boys division at the GYBT Tournament of Champions. What a way for it to end. Unbelievable. We'll get our 2 winners to sign the coveted trophy pin next.
These days, popular teenagers all over the country are finding fun and good companionship in America's most wholesome game. It's the new rock and roll. Roll means bowl. All the fellas and gals are out bowling.
Rock and rolling means bowling.
Bowling means Brunswick.
Every guy and gal should know the name. Brunswick! So join the kids and start in bowling.
It's the newest rock and rolling. America's swinging this teenage game, and Brunswick is the name that makes the game. America's swinging this teenage game, and Brunswick is the name that makes the game.
What a bitter pill for Charlie to have to swallow. I can't think of a more heartbreaking way to lose a bowling tournament. But he is a talented, strong-willed young man, and I know he'll bounce back stronger than ever. One thing's certain, in his first year of competing in U20, he came within a whisker of standing toe-to-toe with the best youth bowler in the state. And for Peyton Smith, this is one more trophy in a very big, very full trophy case. He just keeps mowing them down. He's still got another year left in U20, so don't be surprised if you see him back next year going for a three-peat. It's time to visit with our 2 winners in the U15 and U20 boys, Josh Collins and Peyton Smith.
They're about to hand out trophies, so we got to make this quick.
All right.
Congratulations, you just won the GYBT TOC.
Yep.
It's just like Pepsi.
Yeah.
You and Peyton in the U15 and U20 boys.
I had to work a little bit harder though for this one.
I'd say so.
What's the date?
Today is the 3rd of June, 6/3/2018.
All right. $36. Wait, what?
6/3/2018.
Okay.
Congratulations, way to go. This was a good one.
Thank you.
Some idiot forgot to hit the record button, so he's already signed the coveted trophy pin, but we can at least get Big Logan to photobomb you and ask you about that win. That's 2 in a row for you in the GYBT Tournament of Champions. That's huge.
Sir.
So you're sitting there in the 10th frame. Charlie's got ball in hand with a chance to shut you out. What are you thinking?
He was hoping that he makes a miss or there's a mistake so you can get the win, but it happens. So.
Unbelievable.
This happens sometimes.
It does. It's a crazy sport. But you're the champion again. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you're up in the 10th frame. A strike spare wins it.
Stone 8.
Leave the stone 8.
Yep.
And not only that, but you leave a stone 8 after you had something happen in your approach and you stopped.
Yeah, well, that was like 2 frames before, but they're pretty slippery. So I made sure that my shoe pad was like a little bit more like lower, just like a lower shoe pad. I switched and went up there, threw a good shot, felt good off my hand. I knew I needed a strike pretty much and stoned 8. Best shot I threw the whole game, and then went up there on the spare and moved 2 right just to make sure I wouldn't miss it right, and threw a good shot. I thought I was gonna hook and it just get by. So don't know really what happened on that. I hit my target. I hit everything I needed to do. So, I mean, the only thing is I can maybe get fast, but I wasn't that fast. So, I don't know.
Well, I know it was a tough pill to swallow for you.
Yeah.
You bowled great.
Thank you.
You had a good weekend.
Yeah.
And finished second, first time in the U20. Pretty good. Congratulations on a good week.
Thank you.
All right.
Moving right along into our U15 boys. We've got 5th place going to Jake Holbein. 4th place going to Brandon Rasiopi. He gets a 314. Okay. 3rd place we got CJ Petrin. Getting 457. 2nd place goes to Logan Fossum. It's $800. And then 1st place we get Joshua Collins backpacking all. A total of 1,057. U20 Boys Division. We will start off with 5th place going to Jonathan Lovett. Jonathan got $450. 4th place going to our 300 boy of the day, Joshua Donahue. Not too bad day all the way around. $631. I know the 300 feels more valuable than the smart. Yeah, not exactly. Smart money, smart rules say that you cannot tap on touchdowns. 3rd place goes to Dakota Rolling Goals for $917. 2nd place in a hard-fought battle goes to Charles Bostic. Hopefully the $1,606 will help ease the sting. And our champion goes to our repeat from last year, Peyton Smith. He takes home $2,122, our largest pot ever for one of our divisions. And with the introduction of U17, probably the biggest that I know for me.
Finally, hats off to Mike Bonzek and his team of volunteers for putting on a world-class event. The GYBT is a real jewel, and the kids in Georgia are fortunate to have this fantastic venue to test their skills and showcase their talent. And we wish all the kids from Georgia who have qualified for next month's Junior Gold Nationals in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex safe travels and all the success in the world. Here are the final standings in all the divisions at this year's Georgia Youth Bowlers Tour Tournament of Champions. Next week on Prodigy Bowlers Tour, the Prodigy Invitational Team Challenge. We're filming on June 9th at Brunswick Zone Roswell. Then we're off on the 16th. And on June 23rd, it's the first annual Prodigy Bowlers Tour Tournament of Champions at AMF Woodstock. It'll be the mother of all stepladders, as every single winner we've had on Prodigy this season, and there are about 25 or so, will be invited to attend, and all the attendees will be seated into one long stepladder to award the coveted trophy pin. Then finally on June 30th, we have our final Prodigy event of the season, the second annual Adult Youth Scotch Doubles 9-pin no-tap Race to 300 on the house shot at Brunswick Zone Roswell. It promises to be a good time. So, this is Coach Randy Brown saying thanks again for watching Prodigy Bowlers Tour coverage of the 2018 GYBT Tournament of Champions, where our winner in the U15 boys is Josh Collins, and in the U20 boys is Peyton Smith. So long from Brunswick Zone Lilburn in Lawrenceville, Georgia.